Well, everyone, Expedition 33 has been out for a few days now, and many of you have been playing it and eating it up and hopefully understanding what I said in my review, which is that this game is a freaking masterpiece, and it is insane to think that this was made by 30 people, especially when you consider where they came from and some of their backgrounds, which we'll get to and we'll talk about more in this video. But I do want to kind of go through the game a little bit in this video, explain why I love it so much, and I also want to explore some of the long-lasting effects that I think this game is going to have on the industry. Because if you think that the industry is just gonna like largely hand wave this game away, no, everybody's paying attention to this and what this game represents, which is something pretty remarkable and transformational. Like, this game is gonna change the gaming industry, and I don't mean that lightly. I seriously mean it, and I'm gonna explain what I mean over the course of this video, so buckle up. It's gonna be a good time as we fly around as Esquier. I should say, don't worry, I'm not gonna get into any like crazy spoilers or anything, so rest assured, if you're nervous about story spoilers, I know all of them, so I'm not gonna be doing anything that could potentially upset you or disturb your time and enjoyment with the game. I just want to talk about it. And boy, oh boy, is there a lot to talk about. Such as this little fun fact, which is if you go to Sandfall Interactive's LinkedIn page, the page of the team that made the game, and you look down, guess how many employees they have on LinkedIn? 33. Can't make this up. 33 employees made Expedition 33. There you go. But we're going to talk about all this reception, the impact, what other people are saying about Expedition 33. We're going to get into all of it. But first, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of this video, Incogni. Incogni is the cutting-edge company that allows you to remove your personal information from countless online registries, spam call lists, you name it, they can probably remove your name from it. I've been using Incogni since August of last year, and you can see how many hours they estimate I've saved compared to manually filing these removal requests. And you can also see how many of them they've set out automatically without me having to so much as lift a finger. They just do it automatically, send follow-ups to get your name taken off of all of those spam call lists, all those telemarketer lists. It just works. And you can see they have a full activity log, so you can see where your name has been taken off of on all of these. And even if a company is really stubborn about removing your information, they send the follow-up letters and notifications to make sure that it actually gets done. As you can see here, where certain companies are maybe more resistant or more compliant, they can actually go and send follow-up letters and notifications to them to make sure that your data is protected. And you don't have to do any of it yourself. It just does it, and it's awesome. I used to get spam calls all the time, and it drove me crazy, and since doing this, it just doesn't happen anymore because you put in your phone number, your address, all that information you want removed, and then they go look for records that match it and strike all that information from those companies. It's awesome. Furthermore, as you can see, they're introducing custom removals, which allows you to use Incogni's tools to remove your information from a website that Incogni wasn't already covering. So if there's one website or telemarketing group or something that just has your number and you can't seem to get rid of it, you can actually manually enter that company's information into the custom removal tool, and then Incogni will handle it from there. It's awesome. I highly recommend you check them out. Links will be in the description box below, and if you use my promo code LukeStevens at checkout, you will actually get 60% off of an annual plan. I highly recommend it. I use it. I love it. Like, I don't know what else to say. Incogni's great. Check it out. Links below. Okay, so there's been a lot of reactions to Expedition 33. I think for most people, the reaction has pretty much been echoed by this. The prologue was that good. Thank you for changing my life. I literally released today and you've played 1 hour. It feels like that. You play through the prologue of the game and you're just like, my life has changed. I'm forever different. It hits you in the feels. It's like the opening of Up, you know? It messes you up by the time it even starts. You know, it's one of those. But don't get me wrong, there's also been a scant few bad takes, I would say, about Expedition 33, such as this one that was clipped from Stephanie Rose from Polygon, of course, where they said that the parry system in Expedition 33 represents like 0.00000005 frames at best. If you want your party members and your controllers to not die, focus instead on dodging. Like, they're literally telling you not to engage with one of the most fundamental gameplay mechanics in Expedition 33 because it's too hard. It's crazy. Don't listen to this person, please. For the love of God, I agree with Stephanie. Ignore this advice. Just play the game. Have a good time. You know, gaming journalists will never fail to blow me away at some of the most stupid things I've ever read. It really is remarkable. But I mean, you do have to give everybody else credit. The consensus is that this game is remarkable. It's sitting at a 92 on Metacritic. It actually is the currently highest rated game of 2025. It actually broke past in the decimal range, past Blueprints, which was the previous front runner. So it is now the front runner for Game of the Year, at least through Metacritic. And it has the highest user score rating of any game of its kind in gaming history. I mean, there is really no way of twisting this into anything other than a triumphant success. Again, when you especially consider the fact that this was made by like 30 people. This is the clip that they shared when they revealed the game. This is like the team that made it. This was last June. I remember seeing this trailer for the first time and just thinking immediately, this game is going to be something special. And this is the team. Like, these are the guys that did it. Isn't that, like, that's insane. This small room of people is the team that made this behemoth of a game that, again, I think really will change the industry. I got to give them all the props and love in the world. It really is remarkable. But you want to know what's also crazy, other than just like the high player counts, the fact that they've already sold 1 million copies. That's just sold. That's not even counting Game Pass, like playing and people engaging with the game that way. You see, this team is from all different areas of the tech space. There are some people here that have worked on games before that I'll show you in a second, but there's also people that have worked at like competitors to Uber. Like a French competitor to Uber was their last job, and now they're in charge of like operations at the company. Like, they pulled together a wide variety of people who were just passionate about making this game and wanted to see it come together, and they figured it out. But what's also really interesting is that a lot of these people came from Ubisoft specifically, and some of the projects they worked on at Ubisoft might surprise you as well. The first one I want to show you though is Francois. He works as the COO and production director at Sandfall, and his last job was at Maelle, which is like an e-hailing platform operating in Paris with a 15% commission, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's a responsible alternative to Uber, and it's a subsidiary company of Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi Alliance or something. I'm not French. I haven't heard of this, but his previous job was working for like a competitor to Uber. And now he's like the COO of this game company that probably just made Game of the Year. What? Tom, a name that's much easier to pronounce, is the co-founder and CTO and programming lead at Sandfall Interactive. You want to know what he worked on previously? This kind of gives it away. Yeah, prior to this, he worked as a gameplay programmer at Ubisoft Montpellier, which is like specifically the team working on Beyond Good and Evil 2, which still exists. Yes, that game, and I'm not joking, the game that was announced in 2008, technically before Barack Obama won like the election to become president. We're talking that far back when Bush was president. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was revealed back then, and it's still in production. And Tom here worked on it, which is crazy. But he was working on it like a few years back, not that long ago. But after that, he left and joined his buddies over here to found Sandfall Interactive and started doing that. Prior to that, he worked at Massive Entertainment, the studio that does The Division. You can see he worked on the engine, Snowdrop engine, gameplay programming, all of that. Massive would go on to develop Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Star Wars Outlaws, Division 2, of course, as he worked on. But prior to that, he also was back working on Ghost Recon Wildlands DLC, Ghost Recon Breakpoint from October to September of 2017. And prior to that, he was like an apprentice. Like his whole career was pretty much at Ubisoft, and then he moved over and founded this studio, which is wild. Same thing with Guillaume Broche, who is the CEO and creative director. This is like the brains behind the operation. He made Expedition 33 happen. And as you can see, not only are they hiring, you should check that out, but also prior to this, he was a brand development manager and narrative lead at Ubisoft Shanghai. I'm guessing he worked remote, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he actually lived there. I don't actually know. Prior to that, though, he was associate producer under the graduate program on the Division 2, which I'm assuming is where he met Tom. And you see, again, his entire career was at Ubisoft Studios prior to that, before getting into like stuff he did for university. It's remarkable. But the reason it's remarkable is because Ubisoft is historically associated with like a lack of really creative thinking. They kind of make the same games 15 times over. They're overmanaged, overproduced. They tend to be like hyper micromanagey, they over monetize. Like, it's just the definition of a big corporate game developer at this point, right? And to see the developers of this game come from those offices shows something really, really remarkable that is very important to remember in all gaming discourse. There are talented developers everywhere. There are talented developers even at the studios and publishers you don't like. They work in those offices and they are still talented there. They're talented wherever they are because they're just talented people, which is probably how they got a job there in the first place. But all they need is the chance to express their talent, to show the world what they're capable of. Once they get the chance to do that, they can make a Game of the Year contender. They can do that. Oh, I'm just a little too far away. God damn it. There we go. Mother. But this is why I think it's just so crucial to remember that, because often when we talk about games and the industry in general, we can get like very, I'm so much higher level than these people. Oh, I feel bad. This feels bad, man. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, geez. Well, what I was saying before I accidentally started curb stomping some of these guys is that, like, this industry is filled with very, very talented people, and that's a good thing, and we should celebrate that. But it means that whenever you have the feeling of like being like, Ubisoft sucks, or this studio doesn't know what they're doing, or the devs are idiots, they don't know what they're doing. Remember, the people that made this game were just a few years ago working on Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They were just working on Beyond Good and Evil 2. They were just working on those projects, which we poke fun at and make fun of all the time. But the moment that they were given their creative freedom, they made a masterpiece, like an undeniable masterpiece. It really, really is remarkable. It's very, very impressive, but it shouldn't be ignored because it means that we really need to keep a broader perspective when we talk about these games and studios and publishers. Humanize the developers. That's a good thing. We should really try to remember that there is talent everywhere, and 99% of the time, the problem with these studios are all managerial. It's all a matter of direction. It's all a matter of corporate overreach. It's a matter of being primarily concerned with how they're going to monetize the game instead of making just a really good game. Because for Ubisoft, EA, Take-Two, like for all of these huge companies, one of the biggest difficulties is finding a way to get talented individuals in your studio. But then they kind of forget that the second step to that, which is most important, is to get those talented individuals to use their talent in a way that benefits the company. In other words, getting them to make this game while they're still working for Ubisoft. Like, don't you think Ubisoft would kill to have a game this successful? Of course they would love it. Now, they probably would want to attach battle passes to it. They'd want to attach, day one DLC and in-game store, all sorts of stuff that would probably permanently affect the quality of the game and the scope and what it's actually capable of. But that just is the age-old dilemma for a lot of these big corporations is you get talented devs, you can pay them decently, but it's how you find those good ideas and how you harbor them and foster them into something that's marketable. That's the tricky bit, and that seems to be the bit that Ubisoft missed out on with this team, because a lot of them came from Ubisoft. They had these devs not that long ago, and they didn't actually get to act on it or utilize that talent for whatever reason. They missed out on it. They didn't hear the pitch. They didn't ask them to pitch something that was really good. I don't know. But whatever the answer would have been as to why they didn't get to utilize this amazingly talented team while they still had them, it's just a net loss for Ubisoft, no doubt, because it could have been, but they I'm sure if this was published by Ubisoft, it would not be the same game. But that's precisely the problem. That's precisely the problem. The fact that everybody who pauses and thinks about it for a second and it's like, what would this be like if Ubisoft published it? And you can imagine the crazy overloaded AI. You can imagine the memes already. You can imagine like the in-game store, the item shop. You can already imagine all of that stuff. You know exactly what they would have done because that's just how this is. What is this? Hi, dude. He has my same body type. Oh yeah, I suck at this mini game so bad. He throws him. There you go. Oh, he comes back again. Damn it. Nope, I was late. There you go. I was late again. Oh my God. There you go. You have to do it like a little early. It's coming back. No, I did it too early again. Oh, I'm late. I don't even know the words. Okay, here we are. Oh yeah, we hit the gestrels back. Okay. I'm tracking. He chucks them and then you just have to like hit them back at him. And then it weakens his board. Okay, I gotta get over here, get over there. Okay, get over here. Nope, I missed that one. Oh, okay, I thought I had that one. That's my bad. There we go, we did it. Yay. There's so many little bitty mini games like this in the game. It really is crazy, but there's just, you know, it's I think also the benefit of having a small team, which is the other bit that I think a lot of companies are getting pause with or giving pause with, whatever the term would be. You see, this game was made by 30 people, and one of the most common reactions when people see it is, no way this was made by 30 people. That is crazy that this was made by 33 people. But I think that also shows one of the problems with massive development teams. When you have 400 people working on a game, every little bitty thing has to go through waves of approvals, waves of bureaucratic nonsense in order to get it actually implemented. And it just wastes so much time. We pulled this one up on stream because Parallax Stella pulled this up on her stream and found it. And just look at this. Look at this one little tidbit that she found, okay? I don't have my own clip of this, so look.
Okay, well, your place is on fire. This is fun. Ah! Oh my God! We have a "this is fine" gestural. Oh my God, dude, these devs are so funny.
And there's a lot of things like this in the game. There's a lot of little bitty memes. Apparently there's also a lot of like little bitty French references that I don't get, but there's a bunch of them. It's just remarkable, but you know what would have happened if they wanted to put this into like Assassin's Creed Shadows, for example. They would go say, hey, I have this idea. What if we put like one of the NPCs in a house that's like on fire, and you just talk to him and he just goes, this is fine. Just like a little mention of a meme. Well, we can send it off to the executive team and we can see if they think it would be a good use of resources, because that's probably like a day of work for you to script everything. And you know, I'm not sure if we can really justify that. Plus, we have to worry about the cultural insensitivities of a house being on fire and somebody not thinking that that's a problem. So we have to be careful of that. So we'll send it off to our cultural development team and see what they think of it. And then we also send it off to legal to make sure we're not stepping on anybody's copyright with that meme in case it's been in like a movie or a TV show and we could be sued for it. So we'll check for that. And you start to understand why nothing ever gets done, why it takes them 5 years to make anything, much less, you know, a fun little bitty reference, because everything has to go through so many waves of approvals and double checks, and everybody has to be watching each other's work. And even then, games still are launching broken. It's just really, really unfortunate, but that's how the industry works. And it's too bad, because even a mini game like this, I'm sure would get cut at most big studios, because they're just like, what's the benefit? Like, why would we do that? Like, no, let's spend that dev time instead working on more cosmetics we can sell as an exclusive pack for people who pre-order the game, or maybe we'll sell it as a $5 pack or a $10 pack. Let's just do that instead. That'll make way more money. And that's where you start to see the soul of gaming sucked out through its ass. Like, that was gruesome, I'm sorry, but you get what I mean. Like, it just removes the joy. But for something like Expedition 33, even though it has a very sad and very emotionally potent story, it can still be fun and funny and silly and have moments that are just goofy. And it can do that because the devs were enjoying what they were making, they were passionate about it, and they were able to put in things that other studios wouldn't have let them put in just because it's fun and it's silly. And I think that is why this is connecting with so many people, because it kind of reminds you of why games are fun to begin with, because they should be. They should be fun. They should just be filled with little things that make you smile and chuckle, and then other moments that make you cry or tear up. Like, that's what games should do. That's one of the most amazing things about them is that they can evoke such a wide range of emotions so effortlessly and so quickly, just with a little bitty thing, and make you totally captivated and chuckle and have a good time. Little dopamine drips here and there. That's what gaming is really, really good at. And so many companies nowadays, I feel, have just lost sight of the fun, have lost sight of the fact that this didn't used to at least present itself as just a corporate soulless pursuit of cash. You know, to a certain extent, gaming always was that on the AAA side of things because these games were really expensive to make. But I feel like they used to be better at covering that up because, or maybe it's just like the leadership was better about encouraging the teams to still have fun with it and still do wacky things. But nowadays, on the AAA side at least, a lot of that's been lost, which is why we see so many big soulless AAA games that are just lifeless. They're just like, they just are kind of depressing, honestly. But, you know, I think this is where like the industry is going to change with this game, because all of these big studios are pausing going, look how much freaking money they're making, which is all they really care about. With 30 devs and a handful of years and an original IP we don't have to license like Star Wars or Avatar, they're making so much money because that's, again, all they care about. And their budget was tiny, you know, compared to what we're pouring into things like Star Wars Outlaws or Avatar or something like Forspoken, which by some reports was like $200 million. It's just crazy how successful this game has been with so little going for it, you know, and that's what makes it really remarkable and why I think so many people are connecting with it so much, because it represents the underdogs beating the big dogs. Because this team had nothing other than like a passion and a dream and a game that they believed in. And then, you know, a lot of talent, certainly, and skill. And they found success in an industry which kind of preaches that unless you're a massive quadruple A game, you can't find widespread success. And this just once again shows that that's not the case, and that it ultimately is about the ideas. It's about the passion. It's about the talent of the team. And that's all it really takes at the end of the day. Let me know, are you going to be playing Expedition 33 over the next handful of days or weeks? I really encourage you to, because this is a game that can like very easily be spoiled, even just with like a screenshot or a comment. So like, again, be cautious in the comment section. Just be careful, because there's a lot of really amazing narrative beats that I would not want spoiled for me. So I encourage you to play it. Again, it's on Game Pass, it's on Steam, it's on PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. It's actually still, I believe, 10% off, which is crazy. So you can get it for $45, which is ridiculous. So seriously, again, if you buy any indie game this year, let it be this one. This game is remarkable. Even if you don't like turn-based combat, the real-time elements with the parry system actually keeps it really engaging and makes it not feel as turn-based as you might expect. So I encourage you to try it even on Game Pass if it's not typically your type of thing or your cup of tea. It really is that good. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I love the gosh darn heck out of every single one of you. I'm going to go keep trying to get to the top of that parkour challenge that's in here. If you know, you know. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.